Hello and welcome everyone to today's discussion on the factors and cost of non. I think one of the major reasons to be active, one of the major reasons to be live today is to discuss just about where are we headed, and this is not something that is new, right? And we are privacy professionals, right? We have seen this happening across around the market, and if you're also even part of privacy, you know how Europe regulators have worked through, you know how the UK regulators as well as the regulators across the globe have worked around privacy, right? So definitely we always hear about $1 million fine, $1 billion fine, but we generally miss out on the number of fines that come, right? And there's a very good thought process to that is to think about what is the level at which the fines can come, right? And that is exactly why we are here today to have a conversation and see where are we headed as a country and where are we headed for the corporates who are in this country who process personal data. Yeah, and we will know more about it in just another 2 3 minutes. We'll start, right? We'll get going in certain time, but till that time, let's just wait for everyone to join in. Let's just let this time sink in, and by the time, uh, let's start with our general thought process. It's still a Saturday 11 a.m., and that's exactly when we meet. um, where are you joining us from? Where today I am in Bangalore, by the way. And yeah, I will quickly just tap into you. Joining in from Bangalore, and here goes my comment. What about you folks? Where are you joining us from? Why don't you just drop it in the chat? Let's just have a quick conversation, right? And then let's get ahead. So, by the way, recently we have had a lot of updates in Tsaaro, and I don't know if you guys followed Singapore. Hey Sana, good to see you. Hey Pratik, good to have you. Hey Amrisha, Mathura. Okay, wow. Nagpur. Okay. I think we're pretty diverse, right? We're pretty diverse. I think we're covering Asia today, I guess. Right? We have India, we have the south of India, north of India, west of India, and yeah, joining from Noida. Hey, hi, my friend. By the way, we are opening a headquarters in Noida. So yeah, it's good to see people joining from Noida. I think we'll have a much bigger office. We're excited about it actually. So we're just working on that day in and day out. It's getting constructed right now. We'll share more data. We'll have more in-office events once we are live from there as well. Hey Karthik, good to have you here. Okay, so we will start in a few minutes. If still, my suggestion is, this conversation is, this is not a, don't treat this as a webinar. Let's treat this as a conversation. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I will pick it up from there and then answer it, right? First things first. Second, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, because this is going to go for 30 35 minutes and we're going to have a detailed conversation and go in depth of things. So grab a cup of coffee right now, right? Let me just be honest with you. It will be needed. Hey Abhishek, yeah, good to see you. Abhishek, where are you joining us from? Are you now in Chennai or you're still in Bangalore? So yeah, that's where we are headed. And as an organization, as a country, I think I was sitting with someone yesterday and we were having this conversation. We were having like, what is going to change with DPDP, right? Everybody's like, okay, this is another set of rules that are coming, right? uh, One of the major thing that we forget and we keep comparing, and that's the biggest problem that happens when a cybersecurity gets mixed with privacy. The mixture, the problem that it creates is that the mixture thinks that it's a governance process, right? It is a governance process. Obviously privacy is part of governance, but privacy is a human right. But all other cyber laws, all other regulations are not human rights. So anything that is being done to give somebody a human right has to be done for that person whose human right is there. So until and unless you can map it to that end, any privacy program, any privacy work, or anything that you learn in privacy will not make sense. Because the sense, it's not about the sense, it's about the human right of that human, of mine, of yours, right? Of everyone. So yeah. So the question was, question asked to me was, how do, if people don't know about DPDP, like my parents, or like the country doesn't know about DPDP, how does it even matter, right? That a DPDP is there. Isn't it a good question? Like until and unless the people of the country are aware that they have a human right, then how will even a law apply? Because a regulator can come and say, hey, you are not doing something, but the regulator is not the governing body. If you actually realize, the regulator comes as a reactive approach. The regulator reacts when some bad things happen. But what is the human right that we are getting under DPDP? We are getting right to deletion, right to access, and few more rights. But if I think about right to deletion is not a new right in India, right? We have it since 2017 after the Puttaswamy judgment. So, and when the right to deletion will hit, what will happen? The company has to delete your data and confirm. And you can still go after a company because you can say, hey, I asked for deletion and it did not happen, right? And they have to give a confirmation to you. Though the regulator is not there. So the question is, where do you complain about it? And that's exactly when the thought of the law started in India, because the human right came through. We have the human right, but how do we utilize our human right? And that's where we started discussing, or we started getting our regulations. And once we have regulations, what is the actual goal of the country? The goal of the country is to make people aware, and we have lesser spam calls. Okay, I should not be saying that out loud. Yes, but aren't we all tired with that? Aren't we all tired with these spam calls? I think yesterday my colleague, he called me up and he said, Akarsh, I gave your number to someone, right? And I'm telling you the amount of calls that come in a day, right? Not from just office, but from spam calls. There are so many that any unknown number, it's very difficult to take up, because then that, okay, and okay, this is a joke that we are doing, that every time there is a useful call, we miss out because we think it will be spam, and every time we pick, it's a spam. That's such a bad luck, right? Sheer bad luck. But doesn't it happen with you, right? Do you not think that this is a major issue that we all are facing today? Do you not think that companies who are abusing, obviously not using, but abusing the data, it's high time? Do you think like that? No? Yes. I actually, interestingly, I did something today, and I don't know, I can't share it on this platform, but I saw that DPO Club had shared it. So what I saw is there's this app called DuckDuckGo, right? The DuckDuckGo app, what it does is you can go to that app, download it on your phone, and on the phone, I'll just write it in the chat also in the comments so that you can find it. Yeah, find that app on your Play Store and block all the cookies that are coming to you. It's such a beautiful app. In one click, it's blocking all the access points, and it's shocking. It's sheer shocking how much data points were actually taken in 1 hour, that has been requested by so many applications. And I have started blocking all of them, because there's a limitation to what abuse can happen. But I think if you actually want to realize what is happening. Okay, quick question, right? Let's set the framework right. What should be the factor of a fine? Yeah, Pooja, it's a factor as Pooja, it's a alternative to Google as well, but the app that you download, it has a privacy anti-tracker. So you can use that anti-tracker and just enable the stopping of all the data points of privacy, right? Definitely DuckDuckGo is a browser, but download the app and use in the app, go to settings and go to privacy uh, tracker, and then click on that and then enable that, and you will be amazed, right? You will be amazed. So it's shocking, right? It kind of is shocking. It's, you just get scared a bit. How many people here have said something? And guys, come on, let's have a quick chat on the on the comment box. How many people here have said something, right, and then they saw a ad? How many people have said something? You have said something while talking to your friend, to your parents, on a call, and then you saw an ad about it. Has that happened with anyone here? Anyone? No one? Come on. It has happened, right? This is such a common thing. So, and then, by the way, a friend of mine, and again, I was talking to them and I was raising this issue. And I said, boss, this is something that is sheer shocking that we're talking about something and we are getting ads. Then guess I have never heard this answer before in my life. You know, she told me that a relative of hers is such a smart person, then whenever he wants to buy something, he will actually go near the phone and start speaking about those adjectives. And then on Insta and Meta, the ads will find them. So the other thought process was there's anyways data is out there, right? Data breaches have happened, data is out there. Then why not just utilize this reverse? It's crazy, right? That they're utilizing it reverse, that they're going to the phone and speaking so that they can receive Insta ads automatically. It's crazy, right? It's a beautiful world. People are reverse utilizing privacy breaches. Okay, so a bit about Tsaaro. What we do is we are privacy consultants, and what we do is we help organizations in getting their DPDP Act implementations. And around the world, we are partners with all the leading tools in the industry. We implement them, we govern them, we operate them, and we make sure that the privacy programs run smoothly. Yeah, that's who we are. This is our third year and going in strong. Disclaimer: this presentation is for educational and reference purposes. Nothing is we are not a law firm as well, but this is also not a legal advice. So please don't just listen to me and implement something. Also, today's discussion is not for implementation, so definitely not implement something. Right? Today's discussion is to see what can happen and where our organizations and we are headed as a industry. Yeah. Sure. So today we'll talk about a bit of a compliance checklist. What are these things we should do, keep in mind, keep in organization's mind? Then we'll talk about what will happen. What are these special categories? Okay. Step one, SDFs have not been defined yet. Like who will become a SDF? It's not been defined yet. Generally, the thought in the market is anybody having a certain number of volume of customer data, let's say 5 million or 6 million. If you look at DSA in Europe, the Digital Services Act, they put that threshold, right? DSA applies to everyone, but then it doesn't apply to organizations below, let's say, 5 million user customer base, right, per month. And 5 million user customer base is with whom you also know and I also know. Any guesses? Okay, sorry, we are on the same platform. No guesses. Okay, we can get blocked on this. Okay, so maybe right? Meta. Then we have all these Amazons of the world's biggest ones, right? And they do amazing job in privacy, by the way. They spend a lot, so it's not like they don't comply. They do, but also I think there's a recent fine from DSA, which was huge because DSA is even tougher than a GDPR because GDPR was just the starting, and same thing will happen in India. DPDP is just the start, and then like our criminal rules have changed, similarly the IT rules will also change, and all other rules are coming as new formats and not the old formats which have been working with us for last 60 years. So we want to see some new stuff coming in, and yeah, looking forward to that as well personally. But I know some people who have been talking about this a lot, and I think when the government was forming this, everybody, when we talk about policy, especially from our angle, right, from a privacy cyber angle, our policies from the government are generally governed by rules like IT Act, or a rule like DPDP, or a rule which specifies what to do by, let's say, a certain, or by a compliance guideline, or by RBI, or by SEBI, right? So depends, right? Who are, or IRDA? It depends, right? Which is the regulator? Who's the regulator? What does he want? Like RBI wants localization, right? They actually at some point in time they actually paused Amex also. Like they cannot onboard new customers because their data was not getting stored in India. RBI also has beautifully, I think, one of the best regulators in India today. Uh, they have this organization called Rebit. So what they've done is RBI has opened a entity which does specific IT audits. Right? It's beautiful that they know that such a big infrastructure and IT becomes a more specific and a more new domain. And we as India, as we grow, we are getting more and more challenged by user profiling, human profiling, uh, customer data loss, because that's where we are, right? And I guess that's where US is as well, right? So I'm not saying that hey, we are behind someone. In US there is no human right of privacy. In India we have, in Europe we have, in India we have, but in US there is no privacy human right. So I'm not saying we are behind someone in terms of our regulations. Definitely Europe, but not, I think, to everyone. Right? Even if market leaders, they also are supporting technologies, we are also supporting technologies. So we should not be thinking about that. Okay, so we'll talk about minimization today. Talk about a bit of consent, data security, subject rights, penalties. Right? We'll talk about a bit more penalty thought process. Why will penalties come? A very good report, I don't know how to share this with you, on penalties is definitely, you can, by the way, you can always go to Tsaaro resources, and even some of my people are also in the team here in the call. So you can also go to resources and just look at a privacy report. One of the privacy reports that we did was on the fines that came last year, right? So you can always go look for it in, and then have a look as to what type of fines have come and what does it result, like what are these analyses on fines. Yeah, you can always look at it from Europe perspective. From India perspective there are no fines, but definitely what happens is, and this is what may be an unfortunate thing as well, or a fortunate thing, but generally what also happens is Indian regulator, once it gets formed, will start taking references from the laws or the fines that come across the globe, because nobody will do the new thing, right? So everybody will analyze and then learn, and obviously not copy paste, but take reference. Okay. So major fines that have come are because of breaches. So basically there are two type of breaches, right? A data breach, which we all hear about. I think, we're listening to it every day nowadays. But there is one more type of breach, that is breach of law. The breach of law is what we are today talking about, right? Because a data breach will actually go to a certain of the world, right? But a breach of law would actually go to, let's say, a regulator of privacy, though the data breach can also go, but generally I'm saying, what are we looking at down the line? Okay, few things you should definitely do today if you have not done it. Whenever the rules are out, we are expecting them soon, so maybe it's a good time to have consent management figured out, your data inventory and classification done right, your training and awareness done right, and third party management, right? So why third party management, right? It's a security thing. No, it's not. See, in third party management, DPDPA, it's a lot more about obligations and the type of contracts that we are signing, right? And um, it's not about only about the framework or checklist or vendor assessment, because vendor assessment anyways would come under, let's say, a RBI guideline, or IRDA guideline, or generally a requirement under ISO or SOC 2 Type 2. But I'm just generally saying, like, for us it's more about that liabilities are written right. Okay. Okay, one of the very difficult things, and I can see some fellow consultants in the, listening to me. I'm very privileged to be speaking to you, and I learn from you as well. So I'm asking all of you in the chat, in the comment, uh, why do we do data mapping? What is the reason of data mapping? What is the real reason of data mapping? Like why? Or why do we need it? Anyone? Generally checking with you, like why would you need data mapping? Like why? See, the thing is, data mapping is needed, and please comment in the chat box why do you think it's needed, right? This is an important topic because this is what will change the law and which will change the perspective of people. See, I have been a lot of people who have joined Tsaro right down the line have been behind me to become a privacy activist, right? See, I do not want to change the world right now, right? My goal is to, because see, the thing is, maturity won't just come by a stick, right? We cannot go and say, hey, no, 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 this cannot be done. We have to first make people aware. We have to tell people, hey, it's your own data. See, the more Indians will think about privacy, the more privacy an organization will implement. It's 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Right? So, more better goal to do or better way to follow is by educating people in the organization, the CEOs, the CXOs, the C-suits, saying, hey, like, what about your privacy? You are also getting a spam call. You are also getting messages. You are also getting added in some WhatsApp groups you don't want to, right? So I'm just generally saying, like, privacy is a global issue, right? In India specifically, because the sheer 1.5 billion people in India, uh, it's a sheer number that we cannot beat, right? Nobody can beat us, right? We are the best. We are the number one. So think about how many people's privacy is in our hands, right? Being privacy professionals talking to each other right now. So biggest democracy means biggest privacy human rights, and that means biggest implementations of the world. Yeah, beautiful, right? Okay, coming to the point. Why do we need data mapping, right? I'm still waiting for you. So data mapping is done to find out a few things, right? We want to find out what data is with whom. We want to find that out first. And automation is not the solution on day one, right? You cannot just go and scan a DB, get the identifier, say, oh, I'm done. No, 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 that doesn't work like that, folks, right? It doesn't work like that. How it works is it works slow, right? It works like, you definitely build data catalogs, but data catalogs are also useless after a point in time when they are not updated to the moment. So data cataloging is also not the solution. Building a ropa is also not a solution, but all of them are part of your journey, right? So definitely a ropa is something. If you are listening to me, want my 2 cents of advice, you are a compliance person in your organization, not saying call me to do your job, just do your ropas, right? There are templates on my website for free, just use them, just build your ropas, right? uh, and see what you have. And once you know what you have, then you think about, okay, because as an organization, I am under this much pressure, I am under this much knowledge requirement. Okay, I get it. I need to do this more, right? Because the type of data subject, healthcare data is there, right? If somebody's healthcare data is there, and I was just talking to one of my clients in healthcare, and they said, hey, uh, there is no SPII, right? Obviously, there is no, in Indian law, there is nothing called SPII, right? Though in IT Act and other things are there, but I'm just generally talking about DPDP. So they said it's not SPI, so why should we be concerned? And said, okay, you're not SPII, but the sheer data set that you have, right? The sheer point of data, right? If somebody, let's say you are a hospital and you are processing someone, you're giving someone a medicine or prescribing someone a medicine for cancer, it automatically means that you know that they have cancer, or it automatically they have some problem. Then automatically this is the most sensitive data alive on planet Earth. So then you can't say that, hey, I am a pharmacy, right? You can't say, hey, I am a hospital, right? I don't have SPI. It's not about, it's about the sensitivity of the data. And the more the sensitive data, the more the complaints, or the more, see, okay, I'll tell you something interesting that I did. I got a blood test done, right? I got a blood test report on my app. I downloaded that app. I downloaded that blood report after I got it on my app, and then I requested deletion. Why did I do that? Because obviously that after I got the blood report, right, blood test report, I just wanted to move out saying, hey, it's, I don't want my data to be there on the platform anymore. I took my blood test, please take it off, right? right? So I know it's not 100% deletion from their end, but at least I know that their data management teams or their internal teams would at least hear that, hey, okay, this is somebody can actually request that. So I also request, I can see all the people here, uh, do go to Indian apps, and when you're not using them, right, try to shock them, you know, request for deletion, right? Get your data deleted, right? There is this one more website. I don't know if I can put it on the chat. Let me just tell you. This is called in privacy. So I went to this thing, and I'm also trying to do this. So you can actually connect your mail to the product, and what the product does, it scans your mails and automatically sends unsubscribe on all the emails that are there. So generally your Gmail, I don't know if your Gmail is cursed as well. My Gmail is cursed, right? And when my Gmail is cursed, it's because there are 100 odd emails every day, right? And 100 odd emails, when I read every day, I'm like, okay, these are not me, these are all marketing emails. Even if Gmail has segregated them in three parts, still, it's very, very unuseful right now. So you can also do something. You can go to, online, just look for an app like that, log in. Though there's one more risk that that app is going to read your emails, right? Obviously, that's also a privacy data issue. But somebody you have to trust, right? So something will happen. So if you do that, that will go for a toss. But at least you will not have. You can unsubscribe, right? And I hope Gmail comes up with an option like that as well. Okay, so let's hit the roads. Let's talk about the non-compliance factors. Anybody has any questions, please put it in the chat. I'm actually following you guys. Even if you don't think so, I'm actually following the chat and the comments. It's right in front of me. Okay, lack of consent, inadequate data security measures, non-compliance with data subject rights, and improper data minimization, right? Four major factors of a higher fine. Consent, folks, there are only two types of data collection that we can do, two type of legitimate basis on which data we can collect, either the consent or legitimate interest, right? Majorly, if it's a B2C, D2C brand, they will collect on consent. If it's not, then obviously we have more options, right? But majorly it will collect on, one time it will happen on consent. So what I'm trying to say is, make sure that consent is right. Yeah, consent cannot be something that can go for a toss, and this will probably be one of the most, what do we call it, most fined, right? Probably in next 1-2 years. That's my feeling, and I'm totally a normal thought process I'm having. It should be consent in India, right? It's first one, the thing that comes to my mind. Data security. See, every other organization today get an ISO, a product company get a SOC 2, right? It's better always, because anyways all the organizations now, it's a mini mandatory thing, right? If you want to do business, it's better to be SOC 2 type 2, right? It's better always. Non-compliance with data subjects. If somebody's putting in, let's say somebody's reaching out to you, adding a DSR form is not there on the website, DPO things are not there. So even if your DPO is not there, at least something should be there so people can connect, right? If they have a query, if they have a question, they can at least email. So that basic etiquette we cannot miss today. Improper data minimization. So data minimization has to be thought of in the best right fashion. It cannot be just done, right? It has to be thought about, because there are a lot of factors to data minimization, right? One factor is overall abuse internally decreases, but there's one more factor. Even if somebody comes for doing a data breach, they won't be able to do a breach of that level. See, if a US government or any government in the world is getting breached after spending the most money, then who are we, right? If a hacker wants to hack, they can definitely hack. So what I propose is, make sure that at max, the max you can do, make sure the max data minimization is happening, right? At max is happening, and it happens today, right now, right? Because later it becomes tough, guys. It's a overall change in overall environment, change in the overall structure. especially product companies. I see them struggling still in Europe. And then what people will say, they say, hey, compliance cost is high. See, the thing is, if the basic framework is wrong and you're not thinking about changing the product right now, even if you don't want to give a human right, but if your product doesn't have that option to give a human right, I think you will be done very soon, right? It's impossible to manage it, right? I can assure you of that. Financial penalties. So obviously financial penalties, right? But out of all the six that I'm showing to you on screen, the biggest one that I have seen across is reputation. You know, because nothing is bigger than reputation. Right? See, you all are listening to us right now on Tsaaro's webinar because we have a reputation in privacy. So if the reputation in privacy drops, then you won't even be listening to Tsaaro, right? It's as simple as that. If a customer loses trust, if a customer loses trust, then the brand goes for a toss, right? So if breaches will happen right, left, and center, nobody will want to work with you, right? And especially the brand. Think about it, Fortune 500. They won't want to associate someone who's getting breached every day, right? They definitely, and then if they are working with you, they will audit you right, left, and center. So overall, I'm saying this is something that will become difficult for you to manage. Right? This is difficult for everybody to manage. Yeah. So my suggestion is not to be doing that. By the way, I just want to kind of add on, folks. I am doing a Saturday 11 a.m. webinar consistently. Just nowadays, I'm not teaching, so I'm teaching for free. Whatever I know, I'm just passing it on to the community. So if you like it, do drop a comment, thanks, and then also register for the next webinar, which is incoming Saturday 11 a.m. So Saturday 11 a.m. is fixed for you. Just gonna speak to any questions. If you have, drop it in the chat box. I will reply to you. If any questions are, if you have a personal question, drop it on my LinkedIn. I'll try to reply to you. Right, my LinkedIn is getting very full nowadays, but I'll try to reply to you. If you have, but ask me specific questions, I'll answer you ASAP with specific answers. Right. So, and thank you. And by the way, if you are a privacy professional, do we have a lot of openings? Right, we have a lot of business that we have grown last year. Do join us and have a nice day, everyone. I wish you luck, happiness, success, and privacy, folks. Best of luck. See you again Saturday, 11 a.m. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you for joining in.